So you remember that we just covered the immediate past, and we did that with venir plus de plus the infinitive. So if I wanted to say I just studied, or I came from studying, then I would say je viens d'étudier. I come from to study. I come from studying, because this is the infinitive. It's also the gerund form, which is the ing to form a noun. All right. So this means to have just done something. Conjugation of venir plus de or d apostrophe plus an infinitive to say you have just done something. But what if I wanted to say I have done it? I have finished. I have eaten. All right? I have waited for you. All right? That is where you get into a thing called Passé Composé. And Passé Composé has two words, and there are two parts to it. Your first is the conjugation of avoir, which I have here for you, right? Later we're going to get to the ones that use être, but for right now, just worry about avoir, all right? And then your second part is your past participle. Now, there's a difference between to finish, I am finishing, or finish, right? And then I have finished. This is the infinitive, this is the present tense, and this is passé composé. Conjugation of voir plus the past participle. Another one that you may, really easy, have taken, right? Have eaten, have swam or swum, have swum, have swam, we have swam, or yeah, swam. We'll go with that, all right? So these are your past participles. So how do you get a past participle in French? It's actually really pretty easy. Most of them are regular. And it all goes back to that infinitive, right? So there are three types of infinitives in French. You have your ER verbs, your IR verbs, and your RE verbs. So, just like when you conjugate a verb, you take off the ER and you add a particular ending to get a present tense conjugation. Well, you take off your ER and you add E with an accent aigu to get your past participle. So for instance, to eat is manger, right? To eat. I am eating. Goes back to that little chart, E-S-E-O-N-S-E-Z-E-N-T. And that je mange, right? But your passé composé to say I have eaten, right? I have is j'ai, and you know that manger ends in er, so I take off the er and I add e with an accent aigu. J'ai mangé. I have eaten. Very simple. If I wanted to say I have studied, well, étudier is my infinitive, so I take off the er. J'ai étudié. I have studied. So this works with regular ER verbs. Now, not all verbs end in ER. Some of them end in IR. But it's the same process, okay? So let's say you have finir. Finir means to finish. If I wanted to say I am finishing, je finis. Remember I-S, I-S-I-T, I-S-S-O-N-S, I-S-S-E-Z, I-S-S-E-N-T. So je finis. I am finishing. Infinitive, present, passé composé. How do I get passé composé? Conjugation of avoir, j'ai, right? Finir ends in IR, so I take that off, and what do I add? I. J'ai fini. I have finished. So, for an IR verb, it becomes I. Okay? Now, what if I was using an RE verb? Well, the RE becomes you. So if I want to say I have waited, right? I have waited. So attendre means to wait for. Okay? So that's the infinitive. You know that because it ends in RE. If I wanted to say I wait or I am waiting, present tense, I would say j'attends because my RE ending S nothing, ONS, EZ, ENT. So j'attends, I am waiting, right? And if I wanted to say I have waited, conjugation of avoir, RE becomes you. So j'ai attendu. I have waited. This is Passé Composé. It is not difficult, it's just new. Just like when you were learning how to conjugate in the present tense, and it just took a little while, and then once you got used to it, it was like, oh, okay, yeah, that's what this is. That's what Passé Composé is. It's not difficult. It's just new. You just kind of you have to get used to it. Now, I'm assuming that you can go ahead and get used to it because it's actually pretty simple. So I'm going to go ahead and show you that all of the other rules still apply. All right? Do you remember when we were talking about negation? And ne pas goes around the conjugated verb. Well, in Passé Composé, avoir is your conjugated verb. So let's look at this. If I wanted to say, he has finished. Il a fini. Alright? Now let's label these. Il is my subject pronoun. A is my conjugated verb. And fini is my past participle. Right? So, where does ne pas go? Around the conjugated verb. So, ne is going to go here, and pas is going to go here. And now, we got to take this off, put our little apostrophe there, right? So, il n'a pas fini, he has not finished. Very simple. What if somebody said, hey, have y'all eaten yet? We say, no, we haven't eaten. We're starving. Nous avons faim. Right? Same exact process. To say, we have eaten. I don't think this is the one. Oh, okay. All right. Nous avons mangé. And if I want to say, no, we haven't eaten. Nous n'avons pas mangé. We have not eaten. Okay? Very, very, very simple. Now, what if I wanted to ask a question using this? Do you remember how to do inversion? Inversion is where the conjugated verb goes before the subject pronoun to ask the question. So if you asked me, do you have horses, right? Avez-vous les chevaux? Horse and hare are very similar, by the way, so you just got to be real careful with that. No, I think I had it right the first time. There we go. Chevaux. Horses. All right. This is my conjugated verb. This is my subject pronoun. When I put my conjugated verb before my subject pronoun with a hyphen in the middle, it asks a question. Do you remember this? So this is inversion, asking questions. It deals with the conjugated verb. So if I wanted to say, y'all have finished, and I just wanted to say it very simple. You have finished. Vous avez fini. But what if I wanted to say, have you finished? Using inversion. Well, same exact process. This is my conjugated verb. This is my subject pronoun. This is a past participle. What part of inversion deals with the past participle? None of it. So all you're dealing with is your conjugated verb and your subject pronoun. That's it. So when I put my conjugated verb in front of my subject pronoun, have you finished? Very, very simple, right? This is my conjugated verb, and this is my subject pronoun. The past participle still stays over there. Avez-vous fini? Right? Have you finished? Now, do you remember with inversion, you also had that little T that fell out of the sky, right? Just like when we have a apple, there's an N that falls out of the sky, and now we have an apple. Well, in inversion, if I wanted to say, if I had, he has a horse, right? Un cheval. All about horses today. By the way, cheval is where we get the word chivalry from. Because it was the knights that rode horses that were supposed to be very chivalrous. They weren't generally, but that was the idea. All right. So in inversion, if I switched my conjugated verb and my subject pronoun, remember I can't say il un cheval because, well, it just sounds horrible. Il un cheval. What have you been doing, right? So when I put my subject pronoun in front of my conjugated verb, I have to put a hyphen there, right? But in order to break this up, there's a T that drops out of the sky. And now we have a-t-il un chien. And you only do this if, you only put your little T there, in inversion, if you are using il, elle, or on, and your conjugated verb begins with a vowel. Or, I'm sorry, ends with a vowel. Okay? No. Ends with a vowel. Alright? So, a-t-il un cheval? Has he a horse? That T just comes in there just to separate it, just like an apple, just to help us know that it's there. So, when you're dealing with inversion on Passé Composé, what if I wanted to say, he has finished? And I wanted to say, I don't know, has he finished? Well, using inversion, same principle. If I have in front of il, because this is il or on, and my vowel ends with my verb ends with a vowel, in this case it just is a vowel, then I would put it, same thing, and bring it down. A-t-il fini? Has he finished? Okay? Very, very, very simple. It's just that it's new. It's going to take a little getting used to. Now, in your workbook on page 31, there's some stuff that I want to work through with you just so that you kind of get an idea of what's going on. And basically what they're trying to do is just to get you to recognize Passé Composé. Now, the thing that they have going on is hier, aujourd'hui, and demain. Now, hier means yesterday. Aujourd'hui means today. And demain means tomorrow. I think about this. I washed my hair yesterday. Hier. Okay? Aujourd'hui, you just kind of have to remember that one. Today. Right? And then demain, I always think, I'll pay demain tomorrow. I don't have the money today. I'll pay demain tomorrow. Pay the man tomorrow. Alright? So, hier, yesterday, aujourd'hui, today, demain, tomorrow. And what they're trying to get you to realize is that you're probably going to see Passé Composé with this, present tense with this, and future with this. Now, how do we do future again? Conjugation of aller plus the infinitive, right? So, for instance, if I wanted to say to eat, if I'm dealing with, or let's say to swim. Let's say nager. All right? To swim. Yesterday, I have swum. J'ai nagé. Today, I am swimming. Je nage. Tomorrow, I am going to swim. Je vais nager. Right? So, that is passé composé. This is present. And this is basically future. All right? So let's look through these. On number 1, j'ai perdu mon billet d'avion. I have lost my plane ticket. Have lost, passé composé. And it was j'ai perdu. Now perdu, since it's you, that lets you know that that was perdre. And perdre means to lose. So I have lost my plane ticket. What about je vais visiter le musée Picasso? Je vais visiter. Conjugation of aller plus an infinitive for the future, right? And then for the passé composé, it's the conjugation of avoir plus a past participle. All right? So this is where all of this is coming from. So that would be tomorrow. Demain, je vais visiter le musée Picasso. What about Kevin a trouvé mon billet? Well, good for Kevin and good for you. Because what has Kevin done? Trouvé, which ended in E. So that lets us know it's ER. Trouvé means to find. I always think of this as trouvé treasure. It kind of looks the same to me. So you find. So Kevin a trouvé mon billet. Kevin has found my ticket. So chances are he did that yesterday, right? J'ai téléphoné mes parents. I have telephoned my parents. Hier, right? What about Kevin and Alain vont aller au Grand Palais? Vont aller. Vont is a conjugation of aller, right? Kevin are going to go to the Grand Palace, all right? So this is where these come in at. Passé composé, you are going to have plenty of time to get familiar with because pretty much this entire book, well, at least what we're doing with French 2, deals with passé composé. Passé composé is the big skill that you gain in French 2. So, bonne chance and au revoir.